Hello, I'm Dana Levenberg, member of the Assembly for the 95th District in New York State. Welcome to my podcast series, Building Healthy Communities. My mission as a legislator is to build healthy communities in every sense of the word, environmentally healthy, economically healthy, physically and mentally healthy, all through the lens of equity. In this podcast series, I talk with the leaders, advocates, and others who are helping to build healthy communities here in AD 95 and beyond, and share information and resources for local residents, which is hopefully news that you can use. As I'm sure all of you watching this or listening to this know, public libraries are a major benefit for their communities, providing everything from a wealth of knowledge and fun to informative programs and so much more. However, an important library event that we will be starting as we transition into the fall is September is Library Card Sign Up Month. So here with us today are the directors of two local libraries, Dana Heisel of the Field Library in Peekskill and Karen LaRocca Fells of the Ossining Public Library, both part of the greater Westchester Library System, and I emphasize greater because it is great. The Field Library serves the greater Peekskill area, providing not only an extensive catalog of digital and physical books, remember those, but access to a mix of programs and resources. Highlights include museum passes, a library of local genealogical records, yoga sessions, and tutoring services. I'm sure we'll hear more about some of those from Dana. And the Ossining Public Library emphasizes its record of service to an ethnically and culturally diverse community, which also Peekskill has. Its catalog, both digital and physical, includes books of all genres, as well as an extensive multimedia collection, including music, comic books, audiobooks, ebooks, and more. The library offers various programs, including career coaching, technology tutoring, mobile hotspots, and book delivery. And I'm sure both of you are happy to say, yes, we both offer that too. While every library has their own niche, I know that there is a lot of overlap. And when we asked you for some of the things that your libraries highlight, that's what you gave us. But I happen to know that you both offer wonderful, wonderful programs and resources and are a great place just to be. So grateful to both of you for taking the lead. So hopefully, maybe you can start by telling everyone a bit more about the respective missions of both of your libraries. And let's start with Dana, please. Great name, by the way.
Right back at you. So I think you'll find that most libraries have a similar mission, and the Field Library's official mission is to inspire lifelong learning, advance knowledge, and strengthen both the city of Peekskill and the town of Cortland community by offering free and open access to library services. We all strive to be the center and the hub of our community and a place for knowledge and community and togetherness. So Karen, I'm sure your mission comes somewhat similar to ours.
Somewhat similar, absolutely. The Ossining Public Library's mission is to enrich, connect, and inspire our community, and our vision is to be the community center for lifelong learning. And we uphold our mission on a day-to-day basis by being the place where people come to gather for learning, connecting, sharing ideas, teaching, and really just being a part of their community.
Okay, well, thanks for mixing up the words and saying them a little differently. But basically, yes, I think that they are both quite similar. And grateful to both of you for doing such a good job leading your libraries in terms of actually meeting your mission. Again, having been on a school board, the library in Ossining was actually sort of funding mechanism came sort of strangely through the school district. That's different with the Field Library. Maybe you can both delve into the histories and backgrounds of your libraries a little bit, how you're shifting to meet local and community needs, both in materials and programs, and anything else that you want to add in the context of history, getting from way back when to where we are now. And let's start with Karen.
Sure. So our library was established in 1893. It began as a collection of books in the superintendent's office at Park School. From there, it moved to a couple of different buildings in Ossining. And then finally, 1914, with a gift from Andrew Carnegie, the community built a library here at 53 Croton Avenue. That building was replaced by a more modern building in the 1960s when was changing and programming became more of a thing that libraries did, and more collection space was needed. And then, of course, in the early 2000s, we were growing out of our space again, and our community had more and more demands about what they wanted from their library. And so this building was voted on by the public in 2005 and was completed in 2006. Here we are. And since 2007, demand for library service has not only grown, but it's changed. We're more of a place where people come, like I said, to gather, to go to programs, to meet with people, to learn and to connect. And yet we are still circulating tons and tons of books out of our building.
Fantastic. I know a few people in my office who are regular patrons, and even though I'm not one of them now, I certainly have been over the years, and now I just have so much other material to read. Sometimes I just don't even get a chance to read just for fun. Dana, can you talk a little bit about the Field Library, please, and its history?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Field Library has a very rich and storied history in the city of Peekskill. It actually goes back all the way to 1796. It was the first subscription version. For 16 shillings, you could borrow books from a private collection of about 1,000 books. The first free circulating library started in 1830, and there were different versions of this free circulating library through the 1830s and 40s. The Field Library was officially founded in 1887. It happened with a generous gift of $10,000 and 5,000 books from a local philanthropist named Cortland DePaster Field. His father, Ben, actually was involved in the New York Free Circulating Library, which later became the New York Public Library. So I think there was a little family squabble there, and we were lucked out. So the initial library was at 1010 Main Street. 1924, it moved to the former Second Presbyterian Church at the corner of South Street and Union Avenue, and it was chartered and duly registered as a free association library by the Board of Regents in February of 1925. And then in 1978, we moved to our current location at 4 Nelson Avenue. We're part of the community center here, so we share our building with the Senior Nutrition Center.
Do you want to talk a little bit about shifting needs or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Peekskill is an interesting community with a lot of diversity, and we've seen over the years that people still want to come here to take part in fun programs and meet up with their friends and just spend the day here, whether they're researching or reading or using our computers and free Wi-Fi. Work now is trending towards the digital, so we are definitely expanding our digital and audio collections and trying to promote digital resources and access to technology. So much like Karen at the Ossining Library, we provide technology, tutoring, all of those services. But we're always thinking of what's the next big thing. Peekskill is a very arts-centric community, so we try to incorporate a lot of that into what we do.
Fantastic. Thank you both for that. So do you know how many people are served each year by your respective libraries? And you talked a little bit about, are people mostly using, checking out books? Are they mostly using online services, physical books or other media being checked out? What else? Can people borrow things? I know there's lots of different things that you could borrow these days at various libraries throughout my district, I know. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that as well. And maybe even mention a couple of the other programs that I touched on in my intro. Yeah, Dana, go ahead. You first. I'll bounce back and forth.
All right, sounds good. So from first annual report, we had over 88,000 visits to the Field Library. We have just shy of 9,500 card holders. Definitely looking to beef those numbers up. We have over 25,000 residents in the city of Peekskill, so we definitely want to expand upon that. But those people that do come, which is frequently and often, one of the biggest things that we offer here is we have an extensive museum pass collection, and we're actually looking at expanding it even further. We have wonderful local museum passes to Kino Seita, to the Hudson Valley MoCA, and things around Westchester, the Westchester Children's Museum, but we also offer a lot of things in the city, and also the DIA up in Beacon, the Natural History Museum, the Intrepid. We're looking into getting an Empire Pass for people who want to be outdoors, use the Parks Pass. So we will want to expand that program. Definitely a library of things is on my wish list. We have a couple of adventure packs for kids that they can check out, but other than our, physical and digital book and audiobook collection, we circulate magazines. I definitely want to work on expanding our library of things here.
Sounds good. Erin, what you got?
So, like Dana, our library is very busy and our services sort of run the gamut. Our building last fiscal year was visited about 200,000 times by folks for various services. Our program attendance has seen an incredible increase over the last 10 years or so. About 32,000 folks availed themselves of our programs last year. And that's, we've seen an increase over the last 10 years of almost 200% of program attendance. We still, like I said, circulate a lot of books, DVDs, audiobooks. Last year, we circulated over 130,000 physical items. And we also circulated about 82,000 ebooks and e-audiobooks. So our digital collections are also getting heavy use. Some of the other things that we circulate, like Peekskill, we have museum passes to all sorts of places around the Hudson Valley and the city. And I'll tell you, Dana, the Empire Pass is really popular here. So that's going to be a nice addition to your collection. We have Mohonk Preserve as well. That's another great one, which I would recommend. Because lifelong learning is such an important part of what we do, we have lots of programs and services for community members of all ages to fit that need. And so we have things like ESOL, English for Speakers of Other Languages, classes for adults. We also have Spanish classes for English-speaking adults and for English-speaking children. We circulate hotspots and Chromebooks to Austining cardholders. And we have lots of different workshops for folks to avail themselves of, such as job readiness workshops, college readiness workshops, and lectures, other opportunities for learning here at the library.
Okay, well, you just answered the next question too, which is what services do your libraries offer? So I'm going to toss to Dana, unless you have other services that you want to add, Karen, but I feel like you touched on that. And then after Dana talks a little bit more about services, also maybe both of you could talk about any physical spaces that are available for locals to use. I know, Dana, you talked a little bit about art. I happen to know about the gallery space in Austining. So maybe you guys can both talk about the physical spaces that can be used as well as any additional services. And I'm going to just go to Dana because Karen, you covered a lot of the services already. So go ahead.
She has time to think of more. Yeah, so some of our most notable services, we have a notary here in the library. We have currently one notary on staff with a second coming very soon, but we also have an outside notary who comes in 2 days a week. Notary services are incredibly popular. We're also looking at adding passport services. We don't currently do it, but we're hoping to add that very soon. One of the things that we have here in Peekskill at the Field Library is an archive, and we have a local history librarian who works in our archive and offers searches for genealogy, obituary index searches, any history projects, things, especially local history. She's here for all of those needs. So it's a wonderful place to come and visit and do some research. Us library nerds, we like history, we like research. And so that's a wonderful thing that we have. Much like Karen and all of the other wonderful libraries in Westchester, we take advantage of interlibrary loan and those services, delivering services and books and materials through the different libraries, which is a phenomenally busy prospect. We do have our gallery here. We offer both a space upstairs and a display case, which is kept right outside our main entrance. And sometimes we do a combined show where the artist uses both spaces. Sometimes we feature different things in the two different spaces. Sometimes we feature our staff's artwork and creative projects in our display case out front, which is always fun. In February, we partner with the Peekskill Middle School ENL team, and we displayed all of the students' artwork and invited their families in. So that was incredibly fun. We offer, of course, all of the general reference services, printing, Wi-Fi, computers, faxing and scanning, general tech help. We also have a bookstore. So it's separate from the main building of the library. Our bookstore is located at 934th South Street. It's open 6 days a week from 10 to 5. And that is where we take donations and offer a wonderful selection of books and DVDs, children's books to the community. So.
Fantastic. Awesome. Karen, you want to add on to your list of services and things in other spaces?
Sure. So much like Dana, we have a beautiful gallery space in the lower level of our library. Every month we have a different art display down there. And it's always very beautiful. Every May, the Ossining School District shows their student art, which is one of my favorite displays to see. And then my second favorite display to see, or my other favorite display to see, is the Ossining Arts Council every June. They do a show down there, which is great. Demands in our community that we have seen over the last 10 or so years is for spaces for community members to meet, community groups to meet, spaces for study and that kind of thing. And so we have made a real effort over the last few years to make sure that we have enough spaces for people. Of course, we have our beautiful Boudars Theater down on the lower level, which gets heavy use. We have now 2 conference rooms that folks use for various things, a smaller activity room, and 4 study spaces now that are extremely popular for people. And those newer spaces that we've added over the last few years have been funded through grants and donations coming through the Ossining Library Foundation and the Friends of the Ossining Library. So we're very fortunate to have those things.
Fantastic.
You're very fortunate to have all of the spaces you have in general.
That's
definitely
true.
Spaces at a premium here. We did launch using our program rooms as study rooms this past year, and that's been incredibly successful. But I envy you your spaces.
I'm just happy that both of you are very forward looking, and I'll leave it at that. Do your community outreach programs, or rather, do your libraries offer community outreach programs in order to involve the community? Could you tell us more about some of the programs that are offered by your libraries that are really, dedicated to bringing community together? Go ahead, Karen.
Sure. So we love going out into the community. We are at the farmers market in Ossining quite frequently, and we have a lot of interaction with community members there, as well as bringing programs there to the farmers market on Saturdays. We also have some offsite programs that we like to do. We have some offsite book clubs, and we've had some lectures at Maryknoll and guided walks through the Ossining downtown and waterfront, which were a lot of fun. Our children's librarians are always in the schools. They bring programming to the schools to make children aware of what's going on in the library. And the schools bring classes to us so that we are a regular field trip for many of the classes. And we especially focus on this during the summer reading kickoff in June. And then, of course, we have large programs in the library that we use to try to draw folks here, such as the summer reading kickoff. And I know most libraries did big events during the eclipse, bringing lots of people here. And so we try to figure out ways to entice folks who may not be coming to the library regularly to come and visit us.
Okay. And Dana, how about you? Peekskill.
Yeah, very similarly, we get out into the community as much as we can. This year so far, we've taken part in the city's Juneteenth celebration, in our Pride celebration, tabled in a couple of different community events. We also partner with our school district in a lot of ways. Our children's librarians do their Saturday Academy, where we do outreach, and as well as their Jumpstart events. I actually have staff at the Jumpstart event happening at one of the elementary schools right now. We're getting ready for back to school, so we're tabling it at as many things as we can and making sure that the families and students know that we're here for whatever their need. But we specifically mention our teacher in the library, who's here 3 days a week, 3 afternoons a week in the children's library. We just partnered with Senator Harcum for the blood drive. I know Ossining did one last month as well, I believe. So we try to make sure that, with strategic community partnerships, we have a wonderful partnership with Homeless Remedies. They provide a job assistance and career coaching program. So they were actually here this morning. Mm-hmm. And things that the community is looking for, yoga. We do a book club over at the Drum Hill Center, as well as a few in-house book clubs. So we're all trying to get out there the most that we can.
Get out there and bring the community in and together. I love it. Do you have any programs in the works for this September to boost library card ownership rates? I don't know if this is called ownership, just whatever. Owning your own library card. Go ahead, Dana.
It's free. You don't have to pay for it. It's my favorite thing to tell people when I'm tabling. It's everything's free at the library, which is a phenomenal thing. So we're actually going to be launching our brand new website in September, just in time for the start of school and for library card sign up month. So we'll be launching the website, and we're also in partnership with the school district, with the Peekskill City School District, to have our library card registration form included in the school registration packets. So that families know that we're here as a resource. We do that in English and in Spanish. And we're also planning a new residence mailing. So we're going to be sending a welcome packet out to all new residents in the city of Peekskill and the town of Cortland to invite them to come in and get their free library card and take advantage of everything we have to offer.
Fantastic. I think I've said that a lot, but that's true. Go ahead, Karen.
Sure. So we like to think of every month as library card sign up month. Dana, I'm sure that you do that as well. But in particular, in September, we're going to be at the farmers market 3 times, and people can sign up for their library card at the farmers market or at any other outreach event that we have. We also are going to attend all of the back to school nights in the school district and have library card applications available there. And then, of course, in September, we resume all of our regular programming. Everything starts up again throughout the year, starting in September. And so at those programs, we always encourage people to make sure that they have a library card. We also work, like Dana, we work with the school districts to make sure an application goes out in every registration packet. And we make sure that every child in the Ossining School District has a library card.
Wonderful. I guess you're both going to be supporting my legislation, which would actually make it easier for those registering for school to automatically get a library card. I know that we have some issues to work through with New York State Education Department on that. I think they're a little concerned, but we're going to work it out, and hopefully I'll have the support of all of our libraries, certainly, and maybe hopefully across the state. I know that the chair of our Assembly Libraries Committee is very interested in the bill, and hopefully we can tweak it a little bit so that it's conducive to actually working, which is what would be so wonderful, to make it just as easy as pie when you register for school to also get your free library card and access to all of the wonderful resources and programs that both of your libraries offer, and also that the Westchester Library System offers. And we didn't really talk at all about Westchester Library System. We have a couple more minutes, but I think that it is really important to know that it's, when you sign up for library card, you're not necessarily don't only have access to the resources at your local library. So either one of you Dana, you want to take that one? Go ahead.
As a former employee of the Westchester Library System, I have this one down pat. One of the most incredible things about our county and our county system is the Westchester Library System encompasses 38 member libraries with 43 unique branches. And you get a card at one, wherever you live or work, and you can use that card at every single library across the system and take part in collections and programs. Different libraries have different rules, but it is a wonderful thing. And, you're not beholden to what your particular library has, because we can always, through our delivery service, get something in from someone else's library and share all of those resources. And the system offers an incredible slew of resources as well, with their career and job coaching, their small business development workforce, their outreach department. We are lucky to have the coexistence that we have.
Karen, do you want to tack on at all Westchester Library System? I know Dana's got it down pat.
I want to second what Dana said. It's an incredible system, and it really opens doors for everybody in Westchester County to have access to an incredible amount of collections and services.
It really does. And again, just having, being a regular library visitor and visiting all of the libraries in my district, I have to congratulate both of you for just both doing such a wonderful job steering the ship at your libraries along with your boards, and just making sure that you're really meeting the needs of the public on a regular basis, making sure that there are wonderful resources. I think you are both economic drivers, local economic drivers, making sure people have access to resources to find jobs or to connect for things that they want to buy if necessary, or just, any kind of information. And having access to computers is really helpful if they don't, or or just even the internet, having quiet spaces to work, or sometimes good spaces to collaborate. Again, resources, programs. I mean, all of these things you both offer wonderfully, and also with the access to the Westchester Library System. So I just want to say again, thank you. I don't know if either one of you wanted to say anything closing. We got like another 2 minutes. So if anybody has anything to add, otherwise I'm going to wrap it up.
I just want to thank you, Dana, for the opportunity to talk about our libraries, but also for everything that you do to support our libraries in New York State. It's really important.
My great pleasure.
Here, here. Absolutely. I second that. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be here with Karen from right down the river.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, everybody who's been watching or listening. That is all for this episode of Building Healthy Communities. Until next time, please be safe and, of course, be healthy.